All right, welcome back to Beyond the Subs, guys. Very excited for our guest today. Today we have Pete and Steve in the studio here at Leaf Labs. Pete and Steve are with a company called The Gym. The Gym, it got pretty popular throughout 2020. I know that we're going to talk about how long it's been in business, everything that you guys have kind of gone through over the past year and a half with like this pandemic still stretching, because there's a lot of stuff to dig into here today. So thank you guys for taking the time to come up to Leaf. Thank you for taking the time to hop on here, because I think that there's a lot of good stuff that we're going to be able to share with the listeners today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So first and foremost, let's talk about it. The Gym. You guys did some stuff during COVID, especially out in California, that nobody else was doing, which I know people are going to have thoughts and opinions about, but people love to have thoughts and opinions about anything and everything anyway. So I'm excited to talk about it from like your guys' perspective and what it meant for you guys and the company as well. And not only that, but the people that were able to go to the gym and talk about like what we talked about, the mental aspect, the immune aspect of it, the mental health and everything like that. So Pete, Steve, if you kind of want to kick off your guys' COVID experience while being at the gym, I mean, I want to hear it from you guys firsthand how it was for each of you.
I can go first.
Yeah.
So I think, what kind of put us on the map is our gym brand in Victorville was the first gym in California, or like the 4-state area, to reopen against state orders, lockdown orders, and then shortly Vista followed right after, and that kind of put us on the map as like, okay, this gym's open, and we haven't shut our doors since. Tons of threats, tons of, warnings from police, even from our governor, but kind of the bottom line is the reason we reopened is because we believe, in a health pandemic, being healthy is the number one thing people should have access to be able to go and do, and so, strength training is number one when it comes to being healthy and building a strong immune system. So it wasn't like some political stance or these amendments, we have these rights, we wholeheartedly believed people need to be healthy, and so we opened, and we didn't, parade it around and, stand up on the podiums and beat our chests. We just opened and told people what we believe, and haven't shut down since, and we became very, very popular among the news, the social media, and in the workout community, because our brand's always been a hardcore workout bodybuilding brand, and our type of member, they work out 5, 6, 7 days a week, and they don't miss a workout.
Yeah.
So us opening for them was super important, because that's a lot of their livelihood, or that's that their whole life revolves around training and the whole lifestyle of it. So we built a very loyal following from that day, because it wasn't just for us to make money or be a circus act on the news.
Yeah.
We wanted to service our members that have been, training at the gym since 1985, 35 years. We were doing it for them. It wasn't about like some political statement.
Well, and I'm really excited to have the opportunity to be able to step back for a minute with you and Stephen and everybody that's partnered in this project, and think about, like Stephen said, why the gym has done that for its membership. We believe, to our core, I think, as a lifestyle, that the bodybuilding way of life is super important for health, many aspects, the mental aspect, and also boosting the immune system. I think recent research proves that to be a correct assumption, something we've kind of already known. That it's interesting, during the course of a lot of the shutdown, and Stephen can attest to this too, you'd see the same people every day coming in and doing their workout. And even though there were mask mandates and social distancing mandates, and to be honest, doing the best you can to keep a clean environment, but at the same time realizing that it's almost impossible to get a workout in and have all of these restrictions in place, even though the rules were there, the signage was there, the compliance was there. The gym, the doors were open. PB shut down for a short time, but other than that, those other gyms of the gym were open, and people weren't getting sick.
Yeah.
It was interesting. And I think when you step back and get to reflect on that and the decision by the management, the ownership of the gym as a chain to stay open and service the members, it was the best decision that could ever have been made.
Yeah.
When all you do is you sit home in quarantine and stick yourself in a closed environment with several other people, the potential for you bringing something in and sharing it with 5 or 6 people around you, whereas in a broader atmosphere of the gyms, people are exercising, they're building their immune system, they're strengthening their body, their mental aspect is better. I think there's a lot to be said for cortisol as well, and the stress relief that comes from training, the peace of mind that comes from training on some level is immune strengthening too. So we've done, as the gym, we've done a real service to the community, in my opinion, by actually pushing the limits of what we could and couldn't do, and the restrictions, and standing up in the face of implications of shutdown and threats and all of that. Which also makes me really excited to be a part of this because of the supplement brand that we are now bringing to market very soon, which is really exciting. That's why we're here with you to talk about that in the short term. Not to jump ahead, but it's another part of servicing the community with some really good stories and some really good products.
Yeah, and I think as we've all kind of continued to talk, and I know that we have George over here as well, and George's passion kind of coming through as well with you guys, it's that reoccurring theme of everything that has been mentioned has been service-based, right? I don't think a single financial, political thing has really kind of come up from the start of you guys coming in today to, the topics that we're picking up on and touching on now. Everything has been service for the people, by the people. And I love that because, my COVID experience was literally trapped in an apartment with my wife. I was able to come to leave, thank God, as like an essential employee, but the majority of our staff admin was sent home, working remotely. So like it was literally wake up, come here, go home, not allowed to go out, restaurants, bars, art, gyms in our area being closed, things like that. And it's very different when you just buy a few things online and try to work out like in your apartment. You know what I mean? It strips the community aspect away. It strips a lot of the mental focus aspect away as well. But also sometimes in a sense of like, in this sport, like competitiveness, right? When you're around other people, so many other people just trying to better themselves, like working out, and you see that, you feed off of that energy, right? You pick up and you go, dude, especially in certain locations when like people are just giving 110%, nobody's really there, you don't see anything slacking off, it pushes you.
Yeah,
You become better.
The camaraderie and everything that's going on there.
Well, and especially in this environment, I think, outside the rest of the world was falling apart. The economy was falling apart, and unemployment was crazy, the government was crazy, politics were crazy, international relationships, everything that you could think of that affects life, all aspects were falling apart. The one thing that has, through my training as a bodybuilder, I've always found to be, to quote Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, it's, bodybuilding for him is an anchor.
Yep.
And I think for everybody that practices this lifestyle, it becomes a foundational anchor. Your food is taken care of because it's pre-planned, and your training is on a regimen on a daily basis, keeps you stabilized. And coming to the gym is able to benefit you mentally, but also physically because you're training. But I think that mental aspect of solidifying things, you get that foundation, you get that anchor, in spite of the pressure of everything around you being chaotic and crazy.
Well, it's that slow current, right? Like if you ever go to the ocean, you start off thinking that you're swimming straight, and then you look back and you're way off course, right? Like you're like, oh my God, how do I even get this far? It's the same thing for people in terms of work, spirituality, even when it comes to working out as well. It's like you don't notice it as much when that anchor comes undone. And I can definitely attest to that from my personal experience as well. It became very, very work-based, right? Like 24/7 during COVID, things like that. So like that anchor starts to lose its grasp on where it was set in place. And then finally, when you kind of surface and you take a look around and you go, oh wow, my training, my nutrition has really kind of steered so far this way by not having that anchor. But it also sets that anchor for everything else that you do in life in terms of like your family, friends, things like that, depending on whatever it is. I mean, it can be mountain biking for somebody, rowing for the next, whatever. And then the aspect that we are talking about is being inside of a gym, but I mean that goes for so many aspects inside and out of it as well. So I mean, for you guys, how good did it feel in a sense of just seeing employees having that environment to still continue to work, knowing that like, and obviously it's by choice, right? Like if you guys want to come in, still train, still do your job, everything like that. If you don't, absolutely, we completely understand. But I mean, when you're seeing what's happening to people left and right, losing jobs, careers are completely thrown off track. Something that somebody's worked for 10, 15, 20 years is now in an instant kind of gone and everything's in question. I mean, what did that do for you guys to be able to just kind of look around and know that like you are securing job security.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, it's just a huge blessing, right? Like, how blessed are we to be able to be in this scenario, in this situation where other gyms are shutting down, other people are on unemployment, you know? Look at the big box gyms, I won't name names, half of them went under, and that's thousands of employees who are no longer employed. But obviously, we were lucky enough to not only survive, but thrive. And I think, you know, any of the people I've worked with can attest to this. There's no better feeling than someone, you know, during this pandemic would come up to us and just be like, thank you so much for being open. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. You have no idea what this is doing for me. You have no idea, you know, I don't know how much longer I could have taken it without the gym. And it's not saying from like, they needed to work out, but from like the mental health aspect, from the, you know, just, you don't know what people are dealing with. And
Right.
so, and it's, you know, this life's meant to be done in community. You're meant to be around people. You're meant to be outdoors, not stuck indoors. And so these people were just like beyond grateful. You know, if they could have somehow shown us their gratitude, they would have. But all they
Yeah.
could just be like is, thank you. Every day, same people, thank you so much. And I'm like, oh, no problem.
Yeah, and that's huge.
On a lot of levels, and I think, you know, for me as a business owner inside the gym, being able to keep my supplement shop open and keep my employees fed, that was something that was very rewarding for me to be able to actually do that. And they're coming to work every day, and every day we're questioning whether the local government will come and crack down and shut us down or not. And so we did everything we could to make sure that didn't happen. At the same time, being able to service the community because nobody's open. You know, the supplement shop was essential, so we were able to keep an employee there. But the gym itself, as a community, was not supposed to be open. So we did the best we could to service the community, and people really appreciated that. And I think it makes everyone realize how important it is to have that anchor.
Yeah,
I think it's critical. I mean, you know, we know it as bodybuilding athletes and as coaches and trainers. And
so on that aspect, not just from, but also I kind of want to hear from you guys as well. Like when this thing broke out, this is a thing that we've talked to like a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, things like that. When COVID first started, so much goes up in question. But I also think, in a sense of like with you guys as well, from being able to train for as long as you guys have, you're training more than just your body. You're training your spirit. You're training your emotions. You're training your mentality and everything like that. And that's the stuff that like a lot of people never really get to see. So I'm excited to kind of bring that story out as well in this conversation. Is, you know, Steve, what kind of, like when you first heard about COVID, what was happening in the world? I mean, what kind of started running through your head? But also, how was that able to kind of spill over into your training to be able to compartmentalize like a lot of stuff? Because it's like having that set anchor, you're allowed to block a lot of stuff out, and that's super important. So I mean, what was that kind of like for you personally, if you're okay to
Yeah.
get into it?
I think, I mean, I'm probably way different than most people because as being a gym owner, I had the key to the gym.
Yeah.
So I was never like, oh, I'm screwed. I was like, well, you know I got the key. But ultimately it was like, okay, well, what do we got to do to adapt? Because we got to service our members,
Right.
you know? And so I remember the last couple days, the big box gyms closed first before our gyms started closing. Before the stay-at-home order was in effect, all the big box gyms started closing. And, you know, I remember I'd go up to our members and they're like, are you shutting down? Are you shutting down? And I was like, no. And I didn't say it with confidence because I really didn't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, heck no, we're not shutting down. And then I remember I started going, well, the front door may be closed, but the back door will be open, if you know what I'm saying, right? And so, because I mean, we knew that the importance of servicing our member, because
Yeah.
with our brand and our culture, it's not about, you know, getting 10,000 members through the door and just having a huge base of members just to pay our bills. It's, we care about each and every person getting results, and everyone is somewhere different on their journey, but we don't want anyone to have to stop that journey, right? Because everyone's on, and some are making major progress. And so for me, it was like, what do we got to do? Because we got to do something. We can't just, you know, shut down. You know, for me, I mean, I'll be honest, if I didn't have the gym and I was stuck at home all day, I'm not going to do home workouts. I'm not going to do air squats and push-ups. I'd probably get fat, sloppy, lazy, depressed. And I know that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I was like, oh, I'm lucky I got the key. But yeah, ultimately it was never about like fear. It was more about, you know, it was almost turned into like a game, and George can tell you, it was like, what do we got to do to stay open? You know, what precautions or what what type of black ops do we got to pull to keep
Yeah.
this operation going? Because, you know, it's about our members at the end of the day. And that's, you know, that's what the driving force behind the supplement line. It's about our members, not about numbers. And it was never about numbers, you know. If we were just about numbers, oh, close down, we'll open back up, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Keep charging your members, don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Close down, keep charging, we'll be fine. No, it was never about that. It was, because our members aren't just a number. Our members, we know each and every member. We know their story. We know what they're going through. And so, like I said, we wanted their journey to keep going. Because, some people fell off and some still haven't been back.
Yeah, that's it. And like that road to recover, to get back to a place once you've been away from it so long, becomes that much more challenging. It's very, I think it's more mental than anything, because like obviously the body's still capable of certain things, but overcoming those mental obstacles when you get to a certain place and then it's kind of stripped away, not by choice, right? That road back can be very, very hard.
Well, and that's absolutely true. I think that, like Stephen had said too, ultimately, as a coach, myself, and as a trainer, you work with everyone that you're providing a service for, working with. It's a partnership, and you're sharing expertise that you've acquired along the way while you're practicing your journey and you're finding your anchor. And then as you develop skills that you want to share because you believe these things are impactful to your life, and you start to realize how impactful they are to the people that you share them with. And the thing is, when you see all of a sudden those things that are super important to people who, before COVID, were struggling to find their way on their own personal journey, struggling with weight loss, struggling with muscle gain, struggling with self-image issues, all kinds of things that bodybuilding is beneficial for, from the mental aspect, what we were talking about, the emotional aspect, because those things transcend just the gym. They trickle into your relationships and how you feel about yourself, how you look in the mirror, your performance at your job, your performance with interacting with family members and friends, even your own emotional health and well-being, which does then impact your immune system. So when we were having the blessing to be able to work through the gym to provide that service and continue to provide it, praying every day that the state was not going to come down and shut our doors by pulling the gym license, especially where we were at PB, we had a tough time dealing with some of the local officials. I think we were blessed, counting our blessings, to be able to continue to do that because so many people have struggled pre-COVID to get to where they were, like Stephen had said, and to be able to not be able to continue and to potentially risk losing all of that progress is devastating for many people. So we were lucky to be able to work in an environment where the ownership backed what we were doing, Stephen being a part of that, and being able to share that lifestyle with clients and customers who their anchor was all about that from a holistic health approach, and saying, we got you. We can still continue this process that we've shared with you for years.
Yeah.
Otherwise, these people backslide and become more lost and have to. Many have not come back. They just find themselves back in a situation where.
Sometimes that hole is just too big to dig yourself
and
out.
you really do see it.
Yeah.
And we had talked about sharing these situations and stories before this. And you almost become emotional when you think about how hard you have maybe worked, or I've worked personally with people who have invested a lot in trying to better themselves along their personal journey, and to see where you've been, where are you? The gym's open, come back. I gained 30 pounds, I gained 40 pounds, I'm drinking again, I've had a divorce, and all of these different personal issues, whatever the case would be, that are real. And you say, wow, fitness is very impactful.
Yeah.
It is a treasure. And we are blessed to be able to share that. And so we're lucky, and we put that same energy in the concept of sharing into the supplement line that we're bringing to the consumer.
Yeah, so let's dig into that a little bit, because this is that next step in evolution for the gym, right? And to continuously service your guys as members. So during COVID, gym stays open. You guys are able to continue to service your people there, give them that safe haven almost to be able to come in and make continuous improvements. And again, it's beyond physical at this point. Like the immune system, the emotional health, you have people trapped inside, depriving themselves of vitamin D just from natural sunlight, right? You tack on the emotional toll and everything the stress controls in the body and what diseases that can lead to.
Absolutely.
It's so hard to calculate, how impactful what you guys did for people just beyond anything physical. Like it spans well beyond that. And that's the point that I want to keep driving home, right? And now, during that next stage of evolution, we had, some good success with the apparel. So the apparel does really well. The members love the apparel, and now we're kind of expanding that from that direct service feedback of the people that you guys work with that kind of led to supplementation. So let's start to dig into that a little bit deeper.
Well, we're super excited about it. I own the supplement shop in the gym, PB, the gym San Diego. It's called 619 Muscle. We've been there for 14 years, and we've serviced a lot of the competitive aspect of the customer base from the gym. And the shop has been able to reach to the consumer and provide high quality products as a part of what we've built our business model on, is providing not necessarily profit margin based product sales, but we focus on giving the customers what they want. I tell my staff in the shop, if somebody comes in, they're not sure what to buy, and you talk to them about what their needs are, what they're looking for, if we don't have what they need, don't take their money.
Yeah.
They will be back when they have something that we can service them, or we work to satisfy that need with a certain product that we might be able to get for them. So we develop a relationship based on what their needs are. And as Stephen had said in our conversation earlier, what if we had the opportunity to put together products that we would use ourselves? You know, that we could create products that were actually efficacious to us as gym goers and athletes, you know, on our own personal journey. What would we do? And so we all sat down, and you know, Stephen and I have been athletes for years in the bodybuilding aspect, so we're armchair formulators and students of the supplement game. Steve and I both have worked in retail side of supplementation and the science side, and so to be able to have the opportunity, working with George especially, to be able to put together a project of supplements that are high quality supplements that we would actually take. We said, what would we do? What do we need? What are the primary components of a small supplement stack that would boost our performance for us? Mm-hmm. And I think you could talk a little bit more about what you said earlier.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what he said, it's like, you know, as a gym owner, I'm not going to build a gym that I can't train in.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm building a gym, it's going to be good because I want to train there every day. I'm not just going to open it and be like, oh, I hope it's successful. Like, I want to, it's mine. I want to train there. You know, I want to get a good workout there. And so, you know, a little backstory, like, you know, Pete's prepped probably thousands of people, and he's not going to put same thing. He's not going to recommend a product that doesn't work because his clients' results make him make or break him.
Yeah,
right?
it's a reflection, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and so, you know, it's funny. So when I was younger, Pete helped prep me for a show, and he would recommend products for me. And he never recommended me anything bad, or it wasn't about profit margin, because Pete wanted to see me get results. So same thing with me wanting to build a gym that I can work out, and Pete wants the best for his clients. You know, we want a supplement line that's something him and I that are bodybuilders can use every day. And not only that, that we can recommend to our clients because also our name's on it.
Yeah.
If Pete's like, I formulated this, try this out, he's not going to get some garbage just to try to get some low cost in. And then same with me, if I want to, if I'm have my name on this, I want to use it every day. And if I want to use it every day, you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's the way I work.
Well, it's gotta be.
And you know, with Pete, and he could tell you, you know, since we've been doing this for, you know, decades of experience combined, like, you know, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, and we know what we like. And, you know, with collaborating together, I think we nailed that in these formulas.
Well, and I'm really excited too, because not only that, but the powder-based products, working with you in Leaf Labs, actually taste really good. So, you know, not only do we have good quality ingredients, and they're all efficaciously dosed, all the labels are non-proprietary blends, so everything that's in them is on the label, full disclosure and full quantities, all efficaciously measured and dosed. You know, we actually had talked about, with the money side of the company, well, you know, this ingredient's a little bit expensive, maybe we cut back on it a little bit. And we're like, well, you don't feel, for example, beta-alanine under a gram. It doesn't do anything. So we may as well include the full clinical dose because, yeah, but you know, this one's a little expensive or that one, it doesn't matter, because if we eat a little bit of profit in this, at the same time providing a quality product that we will use ourselves, the BCA formula, for example, and EAA combination, I'm going to take it every day just because, number one, it tastes good. Number two, it's exactly what I would use myself anyway. And you know, I own the shop, at the 619 Muscle shop at the gym. I can choose whatever I want because I own them all and I personally put them on the shelves to sell. And we worked on these formulas because we're going to use them.
Right.
And if Steven's already training on the pre-workout,
Yeah.
it's good. it's really good.
Yeah, it's a cool experience, man, especially when like you're able to work and collaborate with good groups of people like that, right? Kind of outlining like what's the most important aspect behind this. You know, it's going to be service based, which means we want our customers to make sure that they're getting high quality products that like they take, they feel, they notice a difference because there's integrity behind this between what we've already established as the gym, but also personally for you guys as well with like your name, your reputation, and what you're about, what you stand for, and what you believe in. The last thing that you want to do is put, you know, decades of training on the line to create a product that doesn't do anything for anyone. You know what I mean? So, you know, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier of the ROI of a product versus the ROI of an individual and of a person and what they see and how they benefit. Like it's going to be able to move organically and grow from that structure. So I love that aspect because yeah, I mean we talked about the fat burner having those three heavy hitting ingredients in there, right? Between the Capsimax, the Grains of Paradise, Paradoxine, as well as the GGB Go. So I mean, it's beyond what your typical fat burner is. You know, Pete, I know that you were super clear about this between Steve as well. You know, not just stimulating somebody to a ridiculous amount where that's going to do appetite suppression. And one of the things that we had talked about was like, when you are training, there's still nutrition is still involved. It's still the game changer, right? So if you're just stemmed out, cracked out, typically you quit eating, and you may not even be as hydrated as much as well. So I'm going to let you guys kind of jump into the different aspects there because nutrition is still the key component, right?
Well, it's super exciting to think about, and I can't wait to get these products on the shelves in 619 Muscle. And I tell you what, because Stephen and I said, well, let's put together different categories of products that we feel we would prioritize. Being able to create a new supplement company, we're like, man, there's so many different things you can do. Definitely need BCAAs, EAAs, because it's going to help build muscle. You need efficacious doses. 5 grams of the BCAA formula is enough, along with the EAAs, to be able to be one single dose is going to provide you what you need pre-post training. But the pre-workout and the fat burner are also two key components to success, we believe. Pre-workouts are a very popular category. So what do you want in your pre-workout? Do you want something high stim that's going to get people cracked out because it's popular, people feel it right away? No, not for us, especially as seasoned athletes too. We find that focus and a controlled amount of stimulation that's not going to blow your head off is actually much better to train on. So what we did with our pre-workout product is focus a lot on different efficacious doses of several different volumizing ingredients, powerful clinically dosed pump products that are going to help deliver nutrients to the blood, to the muscle. But also, you can stack our pre-workout product with a fat loss formula, because a fat loss formula is not stimulant focused. It's got a good healthy amount of caffeine, but it's efficaciously formulated with the ingredients that you talked about. You helped us a lot actually in the formulation, because we wanted something that was going to be focused on thermogenesis, on raising the core body temperature, on creating the heat. That's going to focus on fat mobilization, so you can use fat as a priority fuel source. So when you have a good pre-workout that's focused on pump volume and fatigue fighting, that's driven by something that provides fatty acid energy to help, you're going to be burning the fat with increased performance, but you're not going to be cracked out, because both products have a small amount of stimulant in them. Together they make a very clean, healthy amount of stimulation, but that's not the sell factor. How many fat burners on the shelves at GNCs or in other retail shops are high dose stimulant effect, and pre-workouts also. You know, the younger athletes that are less experienced might take some of these very strong pre-workouts or even fat burners and say, God, this is so strong because I feel it.
Right.
But the feel factor is not always necessarily the most effective for performance. And I think you end up with crash or you end up with jitter, you can't focus. These are very clean, very high focus products that also have very purposeful formulation. When you look at the different labels, and we can get into a little more of the ingredients, but it's super exciting to think about taking both together. When you're trying to stay lean, you're trying to focus on the thermogenic effect to pull fat out of the storage areas, and the performance component, the fatigue fighting component, so you can train harder and longer with the volumizing of the pre-workout. It's a powerful stack to take both of the products together. That's what's super exciting.
That's always been my personal favorite combo, is being able to take a fat burner and a pre-workout together. That's me personally. I'm a huge advocate of that. But with a lot of the things on the shelves today, you take a look at the label and you're like, oh shoot, 350, 400 milligrams caffeine, fat burner, 275 to 350 to 400. And then it's like you have to cut so much back on each of those to be able to take it at the same time.
Kids aren't cutting it back; they're
Right.
taking it together. And I think the one thing when me and Pete first sat down, like first day one, is we agreed like we don't want crack in a bottle,
Yeah.
right? You know, a lot of these kids, like you said, they take a 300 milligram fat burner and then a 400 milligram pre-workouts, 700 milligrams right there. And one thing, if you know about high stim, high caffeine, is it just shoots your cortisol to the roof.
Yep.
Burns out your adrenals, shoots up your cortisol, and as we all know, when your cortisol's high, you're not burning
You're
fat.
not burning fat.
You know what I mean? And so a lot of people are like, I need this crack in the bottle, that's going to help me burn